What can you say about all the young guys who got such valuable snaps and game time this year?
They was a big help this year. They showed up in big games, made plays. They played very dominant, especially up and stout. I got to give credit to them because me, playing the nickel position, I know how hard it get when you have a run assignment and a pass assignment. So I just knowing what he had to go through, every snap. So, I just take my hat off to him.
You've
What do you think
had a
about
few
his?
days to reflect and, take in the loss, but then also understand that this season you guys went pretty far with second, third, and fourth hand guys. Does that kind of help you to understand that this was a pretty productive season at the end of the day?
Yeah, for sure. It just let me know, what type of character we got on this team. With just guys having to be in spots, they never played before, just coming to learn. Guys we signing off the street, just having to pick up on the playbook and just, playing big games and just, knowing they didn't have a lot of starts, but that they showed up in, the biggest moments.
In your first year as a captain, what did you learn about yourself and leadership as you had to do that for so many of these young guys?
Really, that I have a voice on this team. I didn't know a lot of guys respected my word. Until I spoke to the team. I want to say Chicago game. A lot of guys was telling me after I had spoke, like that, like they love my speech and stuff. So yeah, that was probably the biggest thing.
Guys who've reached your level of play have a lot of are self-critical a lot of times on their own game. Like, I got to do better at this. When you look back at your season, what do you want to do more? Because like, you surprised, like you can't even believe you made it through the whole season without an interception.
I had 2 interceptions.
Oh, I'm sorry, I screwed that up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was thinking of the defense as a whole.
Yeah, just taking the ball away more,
Yeah.
just whether, I'm not getting a lot of targets, so just affecting the run game, like getting strips and, fumble recoveries,
Yeah.
just affecting the game in, a different way. I would say that would probably be my biggest thing about this season.
Because did a lot of good things without getting a lot of takeaways. If you add takeaways to what you're already doing, does that make you guys pretty
Yeah,
good?
I definitely think it's make us more elite, as a defense, with creating more turnovers. As a whole, I think just as a secondary, us like just playing the ball more, just having that confidence, being put in those positions and just, growing that confidence with just attacking the ball.
I know it's a long time ago, over 4 months ago, but the start of this season, before you lost Nick, before you lost Fred, especially that first game against Seattle, the defense was really good. Does that kind of give you fuel heading into this offseason, knowing you're going to get these guys back?
Oh yeah, for sure. Just looking at the whole season, just getting this far, without those guys, it got me fueled up more for next year.
What did you learn about Kyle Shanahan this year as a coach? Is this possibly his best year with you here? Do you feel that way?
Oh yeah, for sure. With just how he was, just so efficient and just able to, have guys put guys in plays, have guys make plays, and then putting them in position, to get open. I think he's one of the best to do it.
You
kinda
posted
torn-
on Instagram that you want that everybody leaves Robert Saleh alone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just having a guy like Salah, he was so energetic coming off when we first met him. Just playing for him, it was a blessing, just to learn how like he's really a defensive mastermind. Despite what we had going, like us losing games or the last game, I think he's still one of the best to do it. Just me like being in the NFL.
What do you think about Gus Bradley?
Gus was great. Gus helped us a lot. Just figuring out stuff in the strike zone areas. He was in charge of like the red zone and stuff. He was just had so much knowledge for us.
Do a couple more. What's the hardest part about a day like today when you guys are packing up and that this officially closes this particular season?
Just all the relationships, built. You never know like who's gonna be here or who's not. That was probably the hardest thing for me.
What would you say would be the most significant relationship you grew this year, especially if that's a rookie, maybe Stout, maybe someone else? What relationship do you think was most significant for you?
I kind of got closer to the whole DB room, I would say. like the year before, like we really didn't know each other. Like we knew each other and we was playing hard for each other. But I feel like our relationship like got more tighter this year. Like we started doing more like team bonding stuff.
I guess the first question would be, how are you feeling? How's rehab going so far?
And I feel great. I'm in a good spot with rehab. On my feet again. Feel good to be back walking and moving around.
Mykel, what were the last few months like for you emotionally as you dealt with all this?
Emotionally, I ain't gonna lie to you, it's been hard. It was hard. I was dealing with something like this, of this significance. Probably the biggest injury I ever had. And then just the timetable that it takes. Then like missing all the important games that I'm missing. And just the events that I'm missing with the guys out there. It would have been nice to be a part of it.
Like, how were you able to kind of just process the games that you did play? And what did you learn from it? What do you take into next year from it?
Basically, my process is kind of like how I've been processing in the past, like just breaking down the film and taking out my good things from it and putting it to the side and taking out my bad things from it and putting it up front and focusing on the bad things to try to eliminate those.
What did you see? What are the things you want to work on?
Like pad level. Like it's like little technique things like pad level, sometimes hand placement, sometimes my steps too wide or I'm not on my line, like things like that. Yeah.
How much did recovering with Nick Bosa help you on your way back?
Man, it helped me a lot. Man, Bosa's been extremely helpful. Like he's like a real big brother. Like he looks out, he come in, check on me, sit down, eat lunch with me, talk to me, just ask me about my knee, ask me how I'm feeling, like like where I'm at in the process.
Are you taking tips from him on coming back from it?
Oh yeah, of course. I be feeling more comfortable like leaning on him and asking him for stuff versus like a lot of other people. So I just come to Bosa and lean on him and ask him because he's been through it. He knows exactly what it felt like and where how to move.
What's your feeling like to be fast?
You get to spend a short time with, Robert Saleh. He may not be here next season. Anything you learned from just being with a guy like Saleh this year?
Yeah, man, Saleh definitely has made my knowledge of the game grow more. Just the way he breaks down the game in the meetings and tell us different like tendencies and different things to look for in offenses. So I definitely took some things from Saleh. I hope he's here, but if he's not, it's the nature of the beast, part of the game.
What's
so,
sorry.
So yeah, so that's an answer to the question.
What's the mindset now at the end of the season here for the team as well as for you?
Me personally first, like I'm just thinking about like recovery. Like I really kind of feel like I was about to get comfortable and hit my stride, and my injury happened. So I'm just focusing on getting back to that point and getting back to playing on the field. That's all I'm really thinking about. And then for the team, what was the rest of the question?
Just in terms of the collective feeling and how you guys are dealing with all of this right now.
Man, it's never a good feeling to lose, but once you make it to the point that we made it there with the circumstances that we had, it's like you can't be mad, but it's also not. You're never happy to lose. You understand what I'm saying? Like we didn't hit our end goal, but we're not just disappointed with what we got because of the hard work it took to get here.
Could be ready for training camp.
Yeah, I should be. That's like along the timeline. That's like I should be right around then. But who's to say? Yeah.
What was the most difficult part of this process for you?
Just not being healthy and not being able to play. And like man, it really got to me like a couple times. Just sitting at home watching the game go on and it'll be something happen that I feel like I could have made an impact or something happened where like. Just how the game be sometimes, and I just want to be out there.
Sorry. Who would you lean on most through that process? Maybe family, maybe teammates. Who was that?
My family was big. My family was big for me during this whole process. Like my dad, my mom, all my little sisters came down and came and speak with me. Then I linked on the guys here, like Fred. Like I linked on Fred and Nick. They was in the training room with me a lot, and PT, Patrick Taylor. So them guys just helped me keep afloat and stay positive.
Christian, now that there's been about 24 hours since your game, maybe a little bit more, what is your assessment on the season and where you are now health-wise?
Yeah, I think, obviously we came up short, and it's always tough when the season just ends abruptly. But, man, I'm so proud to be a part of this group. It was such an encouraging year from a individual standpoint, being around this group of guys who, came into work with the right attitude, the right mindset every day, and just kept fighting no matter what was thrown our way, and I'll always be grateful to be a part of this team.
You led the league in touches this year. Does that go into your kind of calculus going into the off season and what you'll do and how you'll approach it?
Yes and no. It's more on how you feel. I feel really good. Obviously last game I had some neck and neck stuff going on, but nothing that's going to keep me out or anything like that. So I'm really grateful to finish the season healthy. And last year I didn't lead the league in touches, and that was a much tougher offseason. So, it's really just how you feel, and feel blessed to be able to feel good and get ready to train.
Christian, you said that this was one of the hardest years of your You said it was the hardest year of your life. When you now have had a chance to reflect on it, what about it made it so hard? But then, what is the silver lining for you when you also try and find the positive, the glass half full?
Yeah, I think just physically more than anything, just coming off of 3 injuries that took a long time to get back to training, building a base, all that stuff. It was more just the time and the monotony of training and rehab and doing that stuff every day for a full off season, then to come into this season and have a long year, and so just to get a little time to breathe will be nice. But the silver lining, I probably sound repetitive, but the silver lining is I feel very blessed that when I look back on my career, I was a part of this team, of a great locker room, great staff, great leadership, a bunch of guys who just do it the right way. It was nothing said, or there wasn't an aha moment that made us realize we can be a special team. It was just the guys that collectively committed to each other every day, and again, it's fun to be a part of that.
You can't draw a straight line from one season to the next, but what do you think that what you guys were able to accomplish this year? How does it position you and set you up moving forward?
Well, I think we'll get some guys back, which will be huge, obviously. Goes without saying. And then you get a lot of young guys and a lot of guys who, were backups who played a lot of meaningful snaps. And I always say the best way to learn football is experience. It's to play. It's to play meaningful snaps and meaningful games. And we had a lot of guys do that this year. And so from a depth perspective, when we get some guys back healthy, you have guys who know what it's like to play in a game, who know what it's like to prepare during a week, and I think that's extremely valuable.
Christian, in the 48 hours you walk off the field, your season ends, and now you're going to walk out of here and officially close. You're saying goodbye to some guys. What are those emotions like in the last couple of days as you head into the off season?
It's always weird, man. It's weird because whether you know somebody on a personal level or not, you're family. You go through so much from OTAs until now with each other, and you work so hard, and I think that's why football is the best sport on the planet. You truly have a group of collective, men who sacrifice so much time and effort to collectively get a goal, and then it just ends and you go your separate ways. And so it's always a little bit weird in that sense, but and I don't think we say it enough. And I know when I was younger, when seasons ended, I would always be ready for the next one. Like, we got to get back. And I don't know if I appreciated the guys I was with enough. And so this year I feel like I'll do a better job of expressing gratitude to all the guys in the locker room that made the season special and who did stuff the right way. And that was just, again, fun to be a part of, and I'm appreciative of these guys.
Christian, you won the Eshmont and the Walsh Award, the players and the coaches vote. When did you find out, and just the reaction of getting both of them?
Found out today. It's again, anytime you're honored by your peers, it's I take it very seriously, and it's a huge honor. I don't, again, I didn't do anything special other than be myself, and again, just appreciative to be a part of a team that was encouraging to me, who inspired me every single day. But it's a great award that I'm honored to receive. But move on. Yep.
Christian,
Last one, guys.
NFL history, it's generally not a great idea for a running back to keep getting 400 touches. I mean, I know you want to be on the field and do that, but as you turn 30 and you look through the rest of your career, would it be beneficial to have someone who can have more of a timeshare with you and at least take some of the load off you?
I think I always think load management happens during the week. You got to be ready to play in the games as much as possible, and they did such a good job this year of limiting my practice time, not giving me more than I could handle, essentially. That's a coach's decision, not mine. I'll do whatever it takes for this team. If I get 5 touches a game, if I get 25 touches, it doesn't matter to me, man. I just want to play and win football games, and whatever they have me do, I'll do. But I love playing football. I love when the ball's in my hands. Love competing. I'll always be that way. But again, if they want to bring someone in, I'm all for it. I think having more guys that can, help us win football games is never a bad idea. I just, and I'm sure they'll probably hopefully you want a guy that wants the ball every play too. I think high tide rises all ships, and that's what it takes to win games as a team. So again, just that's their decision though.
Brock, a lot of guys talked about the hope going into next year just because you had so many young guys get so many reps. Do you have the same feeling?
Definitely. It's pretty cool to have the amount of young guys that we had, offensively, defensively, special teams, step up into the roles that they had this year and flourish and take advantage of their ops and stuff. And so with that, obviously you think things can always get better if you have experience with things. So that's something that we all will definitely look forward to.
Brock, you mentioned the other night the toe felt pretty good as the year went on. Will you need any procedure or any sort of special rehab or treatment after the season that would change your off season at all, or is that all good?
No, yeah, toe's good to go. I mean, obviously I'll continue to strengthen it and give it some rest and whatnot too. So, but it's good.
Brock, when you reflect on this season, what did you learn most? I know at one point in the season when I asked you about the time you spent off and kind of clicking with yourself, it was that time you had to spend off of the field with the toe turf. Now that it's all over, what have you learned the most and what have you reflected on the longest?
I think, just our quarterback room and Mick Lombardi, we talked about it today a little bit, but just, how hard he coached the quarterbacks, but also had fun within the year, and what the mindset needs to be, going into each and every game. I feel like I grew in that regard, and my fundamentals, I feel like I got better this year and still improve, but I just feel like I got better in that space. So obviously I'll keep trying to improve the mental side of things. I think that's the next thing for me. But overall, man, I thought, it was a growth year for sure.
So a lot of your teammates are talking about how special this group is and was, and when they look back down the road, they'll really appreciate it. How does that feel for you? Think as in the pantheon of teams that this one is really kind of special?
Yeah, I really do think it was a special year. Given the circumstances that we were put in and dealt with, and guys going down, you see across the league that sometimes teams don't really have what it takes to have these kind of circumstances and then push forward and make it to the playoffs and have a chance to be the 1 seed at the end of the year and all the things that we were able to accomplish, man. Like a lot of teams would throw the towel, and so for us to be able to do what we did, and we had 13 wins this year and had a lot of young guys step up and come into a role and play at a high level, and more than anything, the love of this locker room and the brotherhood that we have, to be able to do it together week in and week out, give it everything we had. That's something that we'll always, carry with us. So, in my eyes, it was a special year.
How hopeful are you that Jawan Jennings is back here next year?
Yeah, I'm extremely hopeful. He's my guy and love playing with him and everything that we've been through. And, he's a war daddy that every time you step out on that field, man, you're going to get your best and get everything from JJ. So, obviously, I want my guy back.
There's also going to be a lot of interest in Mac Jones on the trade market this year. What would you say to teams that would want him to be their starter, and what was it like to have him here this past year?
He's the man. Love Mac. I think he comes in every single day with the right mindset to obviously help the quarterback room, help the team out. He's very smart. He takes care of business, and when you need him at the biggest stage and the biggest moment, he's going to deliver. And more than anything, he and I got really close, and he helped me, with my game, so I'll always appreciate him for that. And, but obviously I want the best for him and I want him to have a great situation down the road. But, if we get another year together, I'll be extremely happy about that too.
What's the most impactful thing that you learned from Mac?
I think just the day-to-day routine of how to be an NFL quarterback, just sort of picking his brain on that, and also just watching him play in our offense and our scheme and how efficient he was. And, there's still things for me to learn from him too. When I go back and watch the film and how he played in the games that he did in our system. And but I just thought he was really efficient and very smart, decisive, and one heck of a competitor.
You said you want to improve the mental side of your game. What do you mean exactly by that?
Just mindset, in a game, in situations, even, leading up to a game, how I'm preparing. I still feel like there's some areas where, I can be on top of my craft and just being ready for games in general. I don't know, I feel like I'm always trying to find little tidbits and things, and that's why, I asked Mac or Mick Lombardi, every game's different. How do I prepare for a certain game and situation? So that's what I mean by that.
Brock, last year at this time we were asking you a bunch of questions about your contract. This year that's settled. You don't have that. How much better and different can this offseason be for you, just in terms of not having any sort of distraction? You can just kind of focus on football.
Yeah, I think, mentally that was something for sure that obviously was there every day and whatnot, but You know, last year the nice thing was I still went about my business in terms of taking care of my body and training and getting ready for the season in that regard. So, you know, I'm going to do that as well. But mentally, it'll be nice to be able to, you know, focus on my wife and our daughter and have that, you know, sort of off the field kind of season of life, but also train my butt off to get ready to go and what the season holds next year. You know, it's not going to, it never is it easy, any NFL season, so I got to get ready for that, but it'd be nice to get some time away with my family.
Get over there pushing Kittle around and making sure he's
Yeah,
good to go.
make sure George is on top of his rehab, so it'll be fun.
Brock, in the last 48 hours, you've walked up the field, the season over, you guys fly back, you're here, you're boxing up, you're going to walk out. What is the emotions of the finality of this season like feels for you personally?
Yeah, I mean, it was a long year. Just, you know, coming into the year, I was like, man, I want to play my best year of football, and then, you know, go into Seattle, and boom, I get turf toe, and overall I was out 8 weeks, and so for me it was like, dang, like this isn't how I expected the year to go for me personally, but we were also winning games. Matt came in, played great, and so I was trying to do everything I could to serve the QB room and our team, and then when I did come back, like finding ways to find myself and be able to play at a high level. So like it was just a lot emotionally and obviously physically. So, but that's playing in the NFL, you know, and you got to find a way to at the end of the day be your best version of yourself and go win games. And so I'm proud that we were able to do that as a team. You know, it sucks that how it ended. We also have that, you know, bitter taste in our mouth, but definitely going to learn from this, and I'm really excited for the future of the 49ers and what we're going to do, you know, moving forward.
Brock, when you first came back from the toe, well, not the first came back, but when you came back at Arizona, how hard was that physically, or was it that hard? I mean, what were you dealing with that first came back?
No, I was at a spot where I felt good, obviously enough to go out and play how I needed to play, and so going into that game, like, you know, after the game I could feel my toe a little sore and whatnot, but that's part of it, and it didn't affect me and how I played and the decisions and all that. So I was happy with where I was at physically, and you know, once I came back cleared, ready to go, you know, I didn't try to think about my toe or anything like that. I've said that all year, and I stand by that. So.